What's up guys, my name is Ozzy and I show you guys how to save money when building computers. So I'm personally not much of an Apple user, minus maybe my iPhone 8, but the other day I got a message from a Discord member who said I should check out the 2013 Mac Pro on eBay. And I couldn't believe my eyes. An 8-year-old desktop selling for the low price of $1,150.
I am disgusted.
Now, of course, there are pros to buying a Mac Pro, even a used one. But in regular OzTalks fashion, I want to build a Mac Pro for less than half the price without sacrificing performance or any of the features. So that's what we're going to try to do today.
You're so lovely, you're so lovely.
But before we get into that, I'd like to thank the sponsor of this video, Morning Brew. Morning Brew turns daily news from a dry and occasionally aimless chore into something fun. They send out witty news emails Monday through Saturday that are engaging and informative. And the best part, it's completely free. I've been subscribed for over a month now, and it's kept me in the loop for both national and international news without turning to a news network. During breakfast time, I can catch up on the prior day's news, which is both wildly efficient and somehow not dull. Prior to this, I would check Twitter for news updates, which is definitely a choice. So if you're interested in business, tech, and finance news, then definitely subscribe to Morning Brew, completely free, and it only takes 15 seconds to do so. If you guys do, let me know in the comments below. All right, let's go build this Mac Pro alternative. Before I started my endeavor to build an affordable Mac Pro, I wanted to give Apple the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the trash can Mac Pro just wasn't all that bad. To get a second opinion and a little bit more insight, I decided to hit up resident Apple guru Luke Miani to see what he had to say about the Mac Pro. I ask you, what are your thoughts on the 2013 Mac Pro for anyone who hasn't seen that video that you made?
Don't buy one. There's no reason for you to buy one. It was a total flop.
What would you have changed about the 2013 Mac Pro?
Everything. They designed themselves into a corner. I would hazard a guess that starting in 2016, they realized that there was absolutely no way forward, and they just completely started over.
Why do you think people are buying them then?
Basically, it's a lack of options. There's not a lot of Apple desktops out there. It is so easy to beat the Mac Pro. It's not even a competition. I mean,
let's just say he was very passionate about it. Turns out, despite its very elegant look, the Trashcan Mac Pro doesn't have any redeeming qualities, which makes my job a lot easier. So I got to work.
Life goes so fast, I've been living so slow. Let's just leave, do it.
Okay, so out of the system, I want at least 4 cores and 8 threads. That's going to at least match the 2013 Trashcan Mac Pro. 16 gigs of RAM is an absolute minimum. More is better, obviously, but at least start with 16 and should be able to support up to 64. The Mac Pro has 2 D300 GPUs and each one is equal to about an RX 460. So ideally an RX 460 or better, but if I can go for RX 470, that would be ideal. Fourthly, I do want the system to look kind of good. The Mac Pro, as poor as it is in value, is very elegant looking, has a nice sense of style. So look epic. I think that gets the point across. And lastly, my total budget for this is $400. If I can get it under 400, I can gladly say this is much better value, even for the time that it would take to actually install macOS. Ideally, I would go with the mainstream modern Intel or Ryzen platform, but it would be kind of hard to fit that under a $400 budget. Now, I could pick up a Dell or HP pre-built, upgrade it. That's definitely the most cost-effective and simplest method, but A, that's not as fun, and B, it would require a lot of work to make it look epic. So I did what I know best whenever I'm in one of these situations. I order my parts from China. The smell of cheap computer parts. So I actually found a Xeon E5 2620 V3 CPU, 16 gigs of DDR4 memory, and a motherboard for $119 before shipping. I threw in an $18 cooler from AliExpress, and our total is $136 for a 6-core CPU, motherboard, RAM, and cooler. Pretty good. I got a 256 SSD for just $30 shipped. Any generic kind would do fine here. I bought an NTEC 650 watt power supply for $38 a while back, and I chose the NZXT H510 case. Just between you and me, it retails for $70, but NZXT actually sends it for this video and another video. Thank you, NZXT. Why am I whispering? The hardest part here was definitely the video card, because macOS is just very picky about which video cards work. NVIDIA is a big fat no with a few exceptions, and AMD Polaris actually has really good support, so RX 570 or RX 580. So I checked local classifieds and I found an RX 580 4 gig in really good condition for $110. The computer looked pretty decent without any extra goodies, but to check off the EPIC requirement and to also ensure that there was good airflow in the H510, I picked up some RGB fans for $22 off Amazon. So the total for the entire computer came out to $406 before shipping, but $430 after. This is what we ended up with. I'm sure many of you already know about it, and I've actually already covered this on the channel before, but a Hackintosh is just installing macOS on a non-Apple computer. Now, macOS is a closed source operating system, meaning that you can't change any of the code in there, it's not available to the public, and the only way for you to get it is through Apple services. And because the operating system is built with specific hardware specifications in mind, it doesn't natively support a lot of different hardware specs out there. The cool thing about living in this day and age is that the internet has found workarounds for that. Now, one of the workarounds is called OpenCore, which is a bootloader that actually allows you to even install macOS on a non-Mac computer. I'm gonna say this loud and clear. Hackintoshing is not easy. While the directions for OpenCore are beautifully mapped out, and there are even video tutorials for this now, there's still so many things that can go wrong along the way, and you probably have to troubleshoot for your specific computer. Now, following the directions wasn't difficult, it will just take you a long time. So if it's your first time ever doing this, I recommend giving yourself at least 3 hours or so. After a few hours of getting the flash drive ready, I turned on my computer for the first time. I think it's booting. I think it's working. I hope it's working. And it was a pretty sad sight. I have no idea what any of this means, so we're gonna have fun figuring it out. Okay, my first error, not a big deal, and I was half expecting it. Thankfully, it's a common error, and OpenCore has a very comprehensive troubleshooting guide. I redid my entire configuration plist. I booted up my computer yet again, but another error showed up. Smiling on the outside, but I'm crying on the inside. I hope you guys know that. Now the bootloader would hang when sleep states S3 through S5 would show up on screen. Initially, I thought this was a power management issue, so I went through my BIOS and I turned off every single power management option possible. So we made some progress. Sleep states S4 is gone. Now it's just sleep states S5. I realized this probably isn't a sleep problem, so I checked the error log and I got the same start error that I had initially. At this point, I said, you know what? Screw it. Let me just mess with some files and some settings and see what happens. As a last resort, I played around with my configuration plist and, well, would you look at that? Oh my gosh, I had to like sprint to get my camera. I'm freaking out because we actually made it to this. Oh my god. We got past the errors, baby. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This might actually work. It looks like the Hackintosh is finally gonna work, right? Yeah, no. My installer kept failing over and over and over again. I tried Big Sur, both the online and offline installer through OpenCore package, through Gib macOS, and through the official installer on my roommate's MacBook. As a last resort, I tried Catalina online installers. Oh my gosh, guys, I think it's working. I actually think it's working. I don't know what happened. This is absolutely insane. I'm so excited because I've been working on this for like 5 days. I started on Sunday and it's currently Thursday. You're so close. I'm hoping after I do this, I'll be able to upgrade to, what's it called? Big Sur. But Are you kidding me? Still failed. So after 5 full days of troubleshooting, I unfortunately had to call it quits. Pain. Just pain. You were so close too. Apple, I think you bested me here. I so desperately wanted this to work. I think with a little bit more time, I can get this to run. So maybe consider this a part 1, because I will be trying this again. But here it is, the failed Mac Pro killer attempt. If I successfully installed macOS on the system, I have absolutely no doubt that it would demolish the $1,200 trash can Mac Pro on eBay for a third of the price. Now, just to get a ballpark estimate, I did run some benchmarks on Windows 10, and I can tell you now it's not even close. Against Luke Miani's trash can Mac, which is the entry-level model that starts at $1,200, my $400 AliExpress machine completely blows it out of the water. And keep in mind, this is without any turbo boosting and without dual channel memory. That's why Geekbench performance wasn't the greatest. My CPU is locked at 2.5 gigahertz and only uses single channel RAM. If I spent $20 on a better motherboard and unlocked the processor to 3.3 gigahertz, the gap would be huge. We already mentioned earlier that the trash can Mac looks more elegant, which is arguable, but I do agree it is a very pretty design. But I do think there's one more pro that I haven't mentioned, and that's convenience. You buy your Mac Pro, even if it's very expensive, you plug it in and it works on macOS. Now, is that convenience worth another $700-800? Even with everything that went wrong, I would say no, but some people, that could be worth it. On the bright side though, even if this is a failed macOS computer, it's still a very awesome entry-level gaming computer. I mean, we have 6 cores and 12 threads, 16 gigs of RAM, and an RX 580 with a pretty cool looking case and some nice pretty fans. That's an awesome build. But all in all, this was a really cool experience. I learned a lot, and I hope my experience doesn't deter you from giving it a shot if you want to try it out. Just make sure you do a lot of research and you know what you're getting into. There's always the potential that something could go wrong. So you have to be prepared, have enough time to deal with that. Anyway, shout out to Reddit's r/Hackintosh and their Discord. You guys were extremely helpful and I so appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed this video, then leave a like. If you guys loved it, share, subscribe, all that stuff, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.